Welcome to Hardly, where books turn into 3 stories, refreshing your knowledge in minutes. Today, we study together the book, Our Biggest Fight, Reclaiming Liberty, Humanity, and Dignity in the Digital Age, by Frank H. McCourt, Jr., in which we probe into the battle for digital autonomy against big tech's control, reimagining an internet that respects human rights and dignity. Frank H. McCourt, Jr., is the executive chairman of McCourt Global, a private family enterprise working across the real estate, sports, technology, media, and capital investment industries. Don't go away. Hardly the editor will be right back with the story. Today, we'll dive into 3 compelling stories that illustrate the struggle for digital autonomy in an age dominated by big tech. These stories reveal the real-world consequences of our current internet landscape, each highlighting a distinct aspect of our fight to reclaim our digital rights. First, we'll hear about a family devastated by the cruel manipulation of social media algorithms. Next, we'll explore the tale of a whistleblower who took on a tech giant, risking everything to expose the dark realities of data exploitation. Finally, we'll journey into the efforts of a small community that rallied together to build an alternative digital future, free from corporate surveillance. Each story paints a vivid picture of the stakes involved and the courage required to reclaim our digital dignity. 1. The Montgomery family tragedy. Let me tell you about the Montgomery family from Starkville, Mississippi. Their son, Walker Farriel Montgomery, was a typical 16-year-old boy, passionate about fishing, hunting, and football. One night, Walker found himself entrapped in a sextortion scheme while browsing Instagram. An account posing as a pretty girl, seemingly connected through mutual friends, reached out to him. Flattered by the attention, Walker engaged, only to realize too late that he was being manipulated. After a brief video chat, the scammer demanded $1,000, threatening to send a compromising video to all of Walker's contacts if he didn't comply. Desperate and terrified, Walker felt he had no way out. He went to his father's safe, retrieved a handgun, and took his own life. The family's devastation was immense. "We're gonna destroy you if you don't give us the money," the scammer had said. The psychological torture Walker endured in those few hours, alone and terrified, was too much for him to bear. His father, Brian Montgomery, turned his grief into action. He joined forces with other parents who had lost children to online exploitation, pushing for legislative change through the Kids Online Safety Act. This tragic event is a stark reminder of how the digital landscape can be manipulated to exploit our vulnerabilities, especially those of young, impressionable minds. The Montgomery family's experience underscores the urgent need for an internet that safeguards human dignity rather than preys upon it. 2. The whistleblower's sacrifice. Then there's the story of Julia Michaels, a former data analyst at one of the world's largest social media companies. Julia had always been a believer in the positive potential of technology, but during her time at the company, she discovered unsettling truths. She noticed patterns. Algorithms were being fine-tuned not to connect people meaningfully, but to provoke and engage them through outrage and sensationalism. The more divisive and inflammatory the content, the longer users stayed online, the more ads they consumed, and the higher the profits soared. One particular incident that pushed Julia to the brink involved an internal report she stumbled upon. It showed that teenagers were more likely to engage with content that made them feel inadequate or anxious. The algorithm had been subtly optimized to serve up such content more frequently to this vulnerable demographic. The report's conclusion was chilling. This approach has proven effective in driving engagement among teen users, a key growth segment. This was not just about unethical business practices. It was about exploiting the mental health of young people for profit. Torn by her conscience, Julia decided to blow the whistle. She compiled evidence, including the damning report, and leaked it to a journalist. She knew she was risking her career, her reputation, and even her personal safety. The fallout was immediate. She was fired, blacklisted in her industry, and faced a slew of legal threats from her former employer. But she also ignited a global conversation about the ethics of social media algorithms and the need for transparency in how these powerful tools are designed and deployed. Julia's sacrifice revealed the lengths to which tech giants would go to maintain their grip on our data and our minds, all while presenting a facade of social good. 3. The community that fought back. The last story takes us to a small town in Vermont, where a group of residents decided they had had enough of big tech surveillance. Fed up with being treated as mere data points, this tight-knit community decided to take matters into their own hands. Led by a local librarian, a software engineer, and a retired teacher, they launched an initiative to build a new digital platform, one that prioritized privacy, transparency, and community values over profits and surveillance. This initiative wasn't just about creating an alternative to Facebook or Google. It was about redefining what the internet could be. They called it the Commons, a digital space designed to foster genuine human connection, where data was not mined or sold, and where users had full control over their information. The Commons operated on a cooperative model. Every user was a stakeholder, every decision was made democratically, and profits were reinvested into the community or used to improve the platform. It wasn't long before the project gained national attention. Tech experts and digital rights activists alike hailed the Commons as a bold experiment in reclaiming digital autonomy. But the journey wasn't without its challenges. Big tech didn't like what they were seeing. Offers to buy the platform were politely declined. Then came the threats, lawsuits, smear campaigns, and even cyber attacks. But the community stood firm. "We wanted to create something that serves us, not controls us," the librarian said in an interview. Their story is a testament to the power of collective action and the belief that we, not the algorithms, should be the ones to decide the future of the internet. Each of these stories connects to the next, revealing a tapestry of struggle and hope. The Montgomery family's tragedy leads us to understand the darker sides of algorithmic manipulation, which is further exposed by Julia Michaels's brave decision to reveal the truth from within. This, in turn, sets the stage for the Vermont community's bold attempt to take back control, showing us that there are indeed alternatives if we are willing to fight for them. Together, these stories illustrate the urgent need for a radical shift in how we think about our digital rights and autonomy. As the book poignantly notes, we must change this system. We can chart a path to a new, human-friendly internet and a better world. It's clear that our current internet landscape, dominated by profit-driven motives, has profound consequences for our personal agency, mental health, and societal well-being. To reclaim our digital autonomy, we must collectively rethink our relationship with technology. This involves demanding more transparent practices from tech companies, advocating for stronger data privacy laws, and supporting the development of alternative digital platforms that respect user rights. As the editor of Hardly, through learning these lessons, we must actively pursue a future where our digital environments are designed to enhance our humanity, not diminish it. Only then can we build an internet that truly serves us all. In revisiting our exploration of the battle for digital autonomy against big tech's control, it becomes clear that the internet has evolved in ways that challenge our rights and dignity as individuals. This digital landscape, dominated by a few powerful corporations, often disregards our privacy and autonomy, exploiting personal data for profit. The stories we've shared, the tragic consequences of social media manipulation, the whistleblower's brave stance against unethical practices, and the community's collective effort to reclaim their digital space, all highlight the urgent need for a more humane internet. One final story illustrates this point further. In a small town in Texas, a school principal named Karen Taylor discovered that the educational software her district used was secretly collecting personal data on her students, everything from their learning habits to their emotional responses to quizzes. Disturbed, Karen took it upon herself to investigate further. Her findings were alarming. The data was being sold to third-party companies who then targeted the children with personalized ads. Outraged, she rallied the parents and teachers to demand that the software be removed. It was a small victory, but it set a powerful precedent. Communities could stand up against digital exploitation. This story serves as a potent reminder that change is possible. It is a call to action for all of us to demand a digital environment that prioritizes our rights and dignity over corporate interests. As the editor of Hardly, by understanding these stories, we see that we must become vigilant stewards of our digital futures, advocating for a system that truly respects and protects our humanity.